I want to talk a little bit about the program I used to have at Roncalli Central High, where I used to teach. I figured I'd take a stroll while I'm doing this because it's not something I really had to write down and follow a script for. I taught in Roncalli Central High for, I think it was 5 years, and in the mid-90s. And in those 5 years, we had a very successful rock program that did mostly rock, some country and folk, but I guess you'd say a popular music program. The program worked really well, and a lot of things I'm seeing in this article that we're reviewing are things that actually happened in Roncalli as well. So, for example, the author talks a lot about how the students did a lot of the work themselves. The students chose material. The students were able to teach each other. There was a lot of peer tutoring. The students basically designed the program, very learner-centered. Anyway, we saw a lot of that in Roncalli as well. We found that most of the direction of the program was driven by the students, and the students had a I shouldn't say a large say in what was done in the program. I mean, they basically had most of the say in what was done. I found myself, while I was in Roncalli teaching, feeling kind of guilty from time to time. It was very early in my career, and I didn't quite have a good grasp on what exactly a learner-centered approach was. But I found myself a lot of the times feeling like I'm actually getting paid for this. You know, the students were doing all the work. They were guiding everything. They were, making all decisions, choice of material, deciding what things had to be learned, what things didn't have to be learned, what was important, what wasn't important. One of the things that Roncalli did was it demonstrated to what I think to be a cognitive apprenticeship approach to teaching as well. Because what we did was, and we could also call it peer tutoring to some degree, many of the younger students in the intermediate level were able to work right alongside the older students who were in high school in working with their musical ensembles and to gain knowledge and gain experience and find out what it is that they were doing. We had some students who started off playing guitar and worked very closely with the older guitar students and then decided that really wasn't what they wanted. They wanted to switch to another instrument. So, a lot of advantages came out of that, I got to say, for the students. They were able to get a real good understanding of, what advanced techniques meant on an instrument, and rather than having to spend years figuring out the instrument to decide finally that, well, this is not really the instrument I like the best. That whole cognitive apprenticeship that people are talking about so much these days, which is thousands of years old. Anyway, that whole approach worked really well in Roncalli too.